Welcome back to our 50th episode of Become a Bat. I'm your host, Tom,
And Mike.
and it's crazy. 50 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To celebrate that, we're drinking Batman-themed cocktails from this Gotham City Cocktails book.
We are. Yeah, I was at Barnes & Noble a couple weeks ago, and I found... I didn't know this book existed. Was just looking in, like, the beer section about, like, generally, books about beer and alcohol. And it was just in the middle of it all, just Gotham City Cocktails, this nice, like, little hardcover black book.
Yep, by Andre Darlington.
Yes.
What a name.
It is good. We made a drink called the
Batarang.
Batarang.
Did you notice on the cover of this thing, by the way, it shows 4 cocktails, and one's Harley Quinn themed, one Wayne, one Batman, and one Joker.
All of them are like themed after like different like things too.
Yeah. Well, this Batarang one is great.
This was
It's
a really
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
I'll probably make this again later today, honestly.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out which one we're gonna have to make next.
Yeah.
But the Batarang was excellent. It's like a mix of
Scotch, gin, simple syrup, although we used ginger ale,
with orange bitters,
bitters,
and mint.
and lemon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really solid drink.
Definitely.
So, that's kind of our mini celebration for the 50th episode. Here's to 50 and more.
Here's to 50 more.
We are stopping the complete history of Batman at 100.
To be honest, there's probably like to get to current, which we may not get all the way to current
We're
because
gonna
it's
be old.
constantly building as we're
Yeah.
trying to catch up. We're gonna be really old.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to figure out a way to speed up. Maybe we'll have to get like to a point where we just do like one issue of Batman, per episode.
Yeah,
Even though it's like 4 stories.
yeah, as the writing gets better, it's
Yeah.
gonna be easier to
Yeah,
make synopsis.
yeah, it's crazy. Like right now, yeah, we got like 4 stories per Batman issue. I don't know when that stops.
Probably like the 60s. Like
Yeah.
when Batman sales start to slow down a little bit.
Probably.
People are watching TV instead.
I'm sure, like, because they're always gonna have like backup stories, or it's gonna be something else, or
Yeah,
it might be like 2 stories. But right now, yeah, 4 is a lot.
it is. But
Yeah.
the only problem is that they're really dense and they're like
Yeah,
they're simple stories, but they're overly written to death.
yeah. This is why
So-
I keep thinking we gotta like figure out some way to like speed up the synopsises. But
We'll
then,
figure something
every
out.
time I try something, I'm like, well, I don't want to leave out this detail,
I know.
and I don't want to leave out that
I'm
detail.
the same way.
And I've been like resisting, because I just get the information on like the DC Wiki, like just purely like who made the story,
Mhm.
who wrote it, the art and all that, and what the story's named, because sometimes it's not easy to find in the story itself when I'm preparing. But I don't look at the synopsises they have there because I don't want to like
Right.
I don't want to plagiarize or have that
Don't
influence.
have it influence you, yeah.
Yeah,
After I wrote my synopsis for this one, I did try to have Bing write it, and
Mhm.
it didn't do a good job.
no,
It basically just copies and pastes from the internet. So.
yeah. It's still a majority of it's like scraping the internet. So
But I was thinking this
Mhm.
is gonna be a slightly long episode, and because we're
Yeah.
drinking and you had caffeine in you. But
Yeah.
I was thinking like, look through your issue and pull out instances that stand out to you. So
mhm.
like, Penguin does this, Batman does this,
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne does this, and then like make it real vague, and then just fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I think you might have to do more like the format where we're just like looking through it as we like describe what's going on.
Those are fun, yeah.
That I think might be the future of this.
We can try that with the next one if you want.
You know what? Yeah, let's do that. That's gonna make things much easier. Well, obviously we'll read it so we have like a better like
Yeah.
idea of what's going on. But yeah, I think that's gonna have to do it.
Okay. That's going to be the new format,
Okay.
tentatively.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do that, say we were going to record on a Sunday, read it on a Saturday.
Yeah.
So that's fresh in your
it's
mind.
fresher.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's get into it.
let's get into it. Oh, we gotta raise it zero.
All right. This is Batman 14, story number 3, Swastika Over the White House. Art by Jack Burnley and Ray Burnley. Written by Don Cameron.
Yeah.
Do you want to describe the cover, the splash page?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So the splash page for this one is in the center is like a Nazi spy guy. I don't remember his name, but you look at him and he's like, yeah, that guy is a Nazi.
Definitely. He's got the monocle.
Yeah, he's got the monocle. He's just got like
slick
this
back hair.
Yeah, the slick back hair, just this evil grin. I'm gonna call it grin because it's not a smile, but it's not like angry.
Yeah,
It's a Nazi smile.
it definitely is.
Yeah, and it's basically its head, and it's in the middle of like right behind him is the swastika,
Mm-hmm.
and the action surrounding it is Batman and Robin swinging in to fight another Nazi with a Tommy gun and another guy behind him recording it on a camera.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's basically the gist of it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very simple.
Yep.
It's really relying on the swastika to shock you.
Yeah. Which, I was thinking about it. This, like, they've alluded to, the war and, stuff happening in Europe. But this is, like, the first time I think within Batman comics they're, like, directly talking about Nazis.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I bet you the Superman comics from the same month are talking about Nazis, too.
Yeah. Yes. I think Superman probably handles it a lot more because with Batman, he's centered in Gotham for the most part. And he got his globetrotting out of the way right before America started the war.
Oh, he's going to do a lot more of it soon, though.
He'll do it more, sure. But, like, Superman, he
can fly.
Can he fly at this point, though, yet?
I think so. He's from 1938.
38.
We're at 43. I'm pretty sure he can fly at this point. He
He
started flying in the radio broadcasts.
Yeah, if the radio show's going on right now, he's flying.
It is, because the Batman radio show's going on right now.
Yeah, and the newspaper strips.
Yeah.
I cannot find... I've been searching to see if I could find, like, digital versions of those newspaper strips. Like
Didn't I give you one of the books?
You got the book, but, like, it'd be easier for us if we had, like, a digital version.
Yeah.
Like, we have Kelsey here. I was, like, thinking we can... like do like the dubbing of it or
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
That'd be so much fun.
She'd be down for that too.
Yeah.
But do you have a scanner?
I don't have a scanner, no.
You can be the guy to upload the dailies.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Worst case scenario, I can just like give me the book, we can take pictures of it, and then like it doesn't need to be best quality. We just need to read it.
I've got that Batman one too that I would love to do an episode on.
Yeah. We'll have to talk about that after the show.
Okay. All right.
You want to do the reading?
I will, but real quick before I do, I was going to say I like this. I really like this issue, and I thought I was going to hate it.
Yeah.
But I liked it because it reminded me of the old radio dramas that I used to listen to back in the day when I was a kid on my tapes. Because the villain of it was called Der Teufel, and he's the German devil.
Oh, wow.
And he was just like going around doing all these terrible things, but he talked like this. So like when I was reading this, I was like reading it on Der Teufel's voice, even though it's not the same guy.
Yeah, I mean that helps though when you read it.
It does. It made it feel a little bit more cartoony and acceptable. Are you ready?
All right, go for it.
Okay. They thrive on thrills. The men who risk their necks to bring you the world's drama and excitement in the newsreels. Wherever flood waters rage, flames roar, or earthquakes level cities, wherever tragedy strikes at human beings, you'll find them doing their job with careless heroism, facing dangers and hardships to record history in the making. This is the amazing story of loyal American cameraman victimized by treachery of master spies, and of a Nazi design for murder and destruction so cunning that it takes all the wits and strength and speed of the mighty Batman and the daredevil Robin to smash the menace of swastika over the White House. You're welcome.
Real quick, I kind of thought the title was a little misleading.
Yeah, it's definitely misleading.
Slightly. All right, let me read the synopsis here. So, a young, ambitious man named Fred Hopper walks into the editor's office at Gotham City newsreel office and asks for a job. The editor tells him that he only wants to hire experienced cameramen, but Hopper makes a case for himself. How can he get experience if no one can take a chance on him? So the editor tells him he's got some photos of. He tells him to get some photos of J. Peerless Morton, a multimillionaire, at his birthday party, and he'll hire him. And you know what? Right now, Fred Hopper, he's a very relatable person, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
I think we've all been in this spot.
He's like every kid who wanted to be an apprentice at a newspaper in the 30s also.
My
grandpa was this guy.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Only he wasn't a Nazi. Spoiler alert.
Especially the part where you want to get a job at something but they're only hiring for experienced people.
Yeah, and you're like,
how do I get? Yeah. So anyways, Hopper is ecstatic, but the veteran cameramen on staff tell him that the editor only gave him this, impossible task, because they gave him an impossible task because Peerless hates having photos taken of him, and he's got a whole army of bodyguards to stop anybody from even trying. But the veterans, they take a liking to Hopper, and they come up with a plan. They infiltrate the party as delivery men with Hopper inside of a giant present. As soon as they open up the present, Hopper gets his shot and flees. Which, very clever, it's a Trojan horse.
yeah.
This could have been. This also would have worked as an assassination attempt.
It would have.
I when I wrote like he gets a shot, I'm like, oh yeah. So the editor is impressed and he hires Hopper right on the spot. But it turns out that Hopper is not an upstart American citizen. He is in fact Fritz Hoffner, a Nazi spy. You have no idea how many times I'm like writing his name and I'm thinking Hefner. No, wrong guy.
Yeah. It sucks that they use the name Fritz because I always think of Fritz Lang, who was definitely not a Nazi and was like pursued by Nazis and
No.
fled to America. But it's okay.
Fritz is definitely one of those like
It
definitive
sounds-
German names.
Yeah,
they
yeah,
used.
I know.
Like it was shorthand for like German, like
Yeah.
wartime too. So
People would have recognized it as a German name back then.
exactly. So Fritz visits an antique shop that holds a secret Nazi base where he meets up with his superiors, where they reveal their plan to pose as American newsmen, and they want to use a smaller camera within the big camera to film top secret U.S. secrets. That's a redundant sentence. Send it to Germany in order to sabotage U.S. efforts from within. This all was leading to making the White House into Adolf Hitler's not secret U.S. headquarters. But they have a problem in Gotham City to contend with: the Batman.
For a second, I thought you were going to say top secret headquarters.
I mean, by the time if Adolf Hitler did get into the White House, it's no secret.
Yeah.
So Hoffner vows to kill Batman. He watches film reels to study Batman, how he fights, moves. He also tries to figure out, if he could, figure out his secret identity based on all this, and he wants to kill him. Hoffner gets his opportunity when he gets to see Batman in person, as the Dark Knight himself will be coming to the newsreel office to take pictures for the War Bond campaign. Batman and Robin are outside performing their acrobatic tricks when one of the Nazis drives by and shoots at them with a Tommy gun. They dodge the attack and swiftly dispatch the Nazis. Later on, the cameramen go shooting some footage at a naval shipyard. Hopper joins one of the veteran cameramen on top of a steel girder up high to get an aerial shot, and then Hopper pushes him off. Batman catches him, and the cameraman is just so happy to be alive, but so he doesn't even suspect Hopper, but Hopper thinks that they're onto him. So Hoffner, at this point, brings the footage to the Nazi base, and they come up with a plan to sabotage a giant fuel storage tank. Bruce and Dick ruminate over the Nazi attackers that attacked them while they were like doing their acrobatic tricks.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, Bruce realizes that they might be targeting the giant fuel storage tank, so they suit up and drive the Batmobile to it. Hoffner spots the Batmobile and gives them the signal. Batman and Robin get ambushed, tied up, and put in the flaming car on its way to bomb the fuel tanks. Batman uses his mouth to grab the cigarette lighter and uses it to burn the ropes tying Robin's hands together. They break free and get out of the car before it hits the fuel tank. The Nazis, believing that they killed Batman and Robin, go to their base at the antique shop. Batman and Robin tail them, break in, beat them all the hell up, and then a few days later, Bruce and Dick go to the movies and see a newsreel about how Batman and Robin thwarted some Nazis' plans. The end.
Yes. Can I say something?
Yeah.
Sympathy for the Devil. It's that Rolling Stone song. It's what this story is. They're trying to, you don't care about him once you realize he's a Nazi, but in the beginning, you want him to get what he wants.
Yeah.
They're tricking you, and I really like that about this story because they're like, oh, this guy, he wants to be a reporter, and no one wants to give him a chance, and now he's got these friends, and they're going to give him a chance, and you feel like he's really buddy, and he's got these new comrades, and they're going to help him become successful, and then they're like, nope, he's a Nazi.
Yeah,
they pull the wool over your eyes.
You feel really bad for the veterans because they stuck their neck out for him.
Yeah,
and then it's just they're doing it for what they have all the best intentions. They have no idea they're helping a Nazi. Yeah. And they don't even suspect it when he one of them, the one that gets pushed off. He doesn't suspect it that he was intentionally thrown off. He's like, oh, I will say though that was stupid of them to get on the girder.
Yeah,
totally unsafe. Not even the stupid way of getting a shot. I'd say. I mean,
it really is. It's very dangerous.
I know they don't have drones at this time, but that was really dumb.
Yeah, I enjoyed the story. I was very surprised. I thought for sure it was gonna go into really racist territory, and it didn't. Like, it talks about Nazis, but it's not trying to be racist and say that like all German people are Nazis, and it's not getting into the whole World War II element of it. It's just like talking about this Nazi spy, basically.
Well, Nazis aren't people, so I think it's okay to be like as racist as you can with Nazis
But
specifically.
it didn't feel racism. It felt hateful towards Nazis.
Yeah.
But it didn't feel racist towards German people or towards any minority. Or
No,
ethnic
no. I mean,
group
there were definitely issues of German Americans getting harassment at this
Yeah.
time,
Oh yeah.
especially like here in World War One. Like I know that like Budweiser, I was just reading this, like Budweiser, the beer brand was actually like became way less popular,
Yeah.
and this is actually why like a lot of microbrews were like starting to take over.
Interesting.
Because yeah, they're like, well, we don't want to make this like German beer,
Yeah.
so like other styles of beer were like becoming like good alternatives for Americans to drink.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not really an issue here to the story.
No, I think this was a solid story.
Yeah.
I think it addressed the issue with the right amount, and it didn't push it too far.
Nah.
If only the other questionable issues of Batman were like this.
Yeah, World War II is definitely a time where like when it comes to exclusively hating on Nazis, they nailed it. They
Right.
nailed it. Their treatment of like the Japanese and the Japanese Americans
Yeah.
is very cringe.
Yeah,
They could have handled that better.
definitely. All right, we're already. Do you have thoughts, by the way? Besides,
I mean, no, those were my thoughts. So
Yeah.
let's do the panels.
my only other thought, by the way, is that I really like the Jack and Ray Burnley art.
I do too.
I think it's a lot better than Bob Kane's.
I'm liking their stories a lot. Like
Yeah.
Batman's a smaller element into them. He's almost like a force of nature.
Or like, he's not an urban legend, but yeah,
Yeah.
he's like a character that just happens to be there. He's
Yeah.
not the main character.
Yeah, they don't focus on Batman. They always come up with an interesting character to be like the main focus on.
Yeah, I would put this this story like firmly in the same category as a lot of the other stories that we like a lot.
Yeah.
Where it's a character piece focusing on a certain individual and their life and their perspective and all that.
Yeah, and it was cool to see the newsreel industry in like Gotham and
Yeah.
like basically what would have been like important back then. And
Yeah, they don't really talk about that ever in Batman comic books.
yep.
All right, you want to get in these panels?
Yeah, which I don't remember if you picked this one. I know both of us would have picked this.
Basically, everything in here would have been picked by both of us.
Yeah. Okay, so the first one it is of Fritz watching, newsreel of Batman, and this is pulled from a story of Batman.
I remember.
Yeah.
Do you remember which issue though? I don't.
I don't know. I can't. Yeah, I will never remember what issues things specifically happened in, but this it was the story where Batman and Joker are fighting on top of a what are these things called?
A lighthouse.
A lighthouse. Jesus.
I was trying to give you the time to figure it out.
Yeah. Very iconic moment in Golden Age Batman history.
This is like totally not necessary, but what I was thinking when I was reading this is like when Fritz talks to the reporters, he talks like he is an American man.
Yeah.
But when he's thinking his thought bubbles, is he talking like that or is he thinking with a German accent?
He is a great fighter, but bullets have stopped tougher men than that. I don't know. That dialogue reads American to me, but so I don't know.
But he's really German, so he really has a thick accent.
I think his thought, if this were like being narrated, it would be, his thought bubbles would be with a German accent.
To be realistic, it would probably be in German completely.
Yeah,
because you think in your native language, but it's all good.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously they're doing it for the sake of the reader. So
yeah,
if this were like like a movie or a cartoon, his inner thoughts would be in English but with a German accent.
I think so too.
Yeah.
To make it more dramatic.
Yeah, especially because the Nazis are also talking to each other in English.
Yeah,
so
of course they would have that accent. Yeah,
yeah.
I like this shot here. This next panel you picked.
Yeah, I mean it's basically the same like head like shot as in the splash page.
But they give him like you know what he looks like? He looks like the Nazi from Indiana Jones, the one who melts his hand onto the medallion.
Yes.
He's got the sharp teeth, and he's like ah.
Yeah, they're going for
The
that
monocle.
like that archetype version of him.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a name for that.
I don't know. I imagine it's like a high-ranking German officer.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely something because like Indiana Jones are like movie serials like based on like the old Republic serials
From this era.
Yeah, so
it makes
it's
sense.
drawing from the same thing. Yeah, and I mean this is also specifically about newsreels.
Yeah,
I mean not like movie reels, but like newsreels specifically.
It's still film.
Still film. Yeah, like Batman would have watched a newsreel and then newsreel and then like an adventure reel right after at the movie theater.
but this panel's good, not just because of the imagery, but he's telling Fritz that if he kills Batman, he's gonna get the Iron Cross for it.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Could you imagine like if he did like kill Batman, and then like
Yeah.
how Nazis are like, okay, so like, do the Nazis know what Batman is? Like at this
Apparently
point?
they do, but
Yeah, you're right.
because he wasn't like, hey, I'm in Gotham City in New York, and there's this guy running around in a bat costume.
Yeah.
He's like, if you kill Batman, you will get the Iron Cross.
It's gotta be weird from their perspective. Be like, okay, all right, we got soldiers. We're doing warfare. We're gonna
Yeah.
fight these Americans. Some of them dress up in costumes and beat criminals up. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, this next one is the girder, as I was like alluding to earlier. This is just super not safe way of doing the business. It's not like a platform.
Yeah.
Like I get it. Like a lot of the construction workers were like, working in like, stuff like this.
But not like that. Like,
Yeah.
this thing is swinging from a crane.
Yeah.
I don't even know how he got out there. And it
Yeah.
shows all the motion lines coming off the camera, coming off the
Yeah.
bottom of the beam.
I mean, on top of that, the camera wouldn't be able to even get like, steady shots.
No.
And like on that tripod that you barely like stabilize it.
No, it would. He's never going to get what he wants.
No, it was just ill-advised all the way altogether. The next panel, can you figure out why I chose this one?
Well, let me see.
It's of the fuel tanks. I mean, they're just like looking at the photos of the fuel tanks and deciding on like, okay, this is what we're gonna sabotage.
What do you like about it?
The fuel tanks look like boobs.
They do, actually.
Yeah.
I think, you know what I just noticed, because I was like looking for different weird elements in this panel?
Hmm.
The guy on the right with the purple suit,
Yeah.
he's pointing with his right hand, but it's coming out the left side of his body.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I think he like drew the head and was like,
Whoops.
shoot.
Yeah, I don't want to redraw this whole panel. I'll just
Yeah, why
make
didn't you
it
just
work.
make it point it with the left hand? That's weird.
He probably drew it and then didn't realize it. Or
Yeah.
he drew the head first and was like, crap.
Whatever.
Or
Yeah,
he drew the
it's
hand first
silly.
and was like, crap, I got to make this work.
I'm wondering why there's an R on one of those tanks.
R for,
I mean, the right tank.
Robin?
I mean, to me, yeah, I'm reading a Batman comic. I see an R in a circle, and my brain says, Robin, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't make sense for this like fuel tank to have it on there unless like Robin, like he's El Barto at night and he just like graffitiing
Tagging things.
Yeah. So the next one is panel of the Batmobile. I keep wanting to say Batman car.
The Batman car.
I don't know. It's nice to see the Batmobile like this.
Yeah, the descriptions of the Batmobile are really interesting always too, because they always describe it as like a shape. They never really like, sometimes they call it the Batmobile, which they do here, but they always describe it as like a shape streaking through the city in the middle of the night.
It's interesting how like at this point they're trying away from like the dark Batman. He's like more campy and happy, but like the Batmobile, like the front of it is like
It's all blacked out.
Yeah, it's all blacked out. It's like a serious like.
But you know what?
It's cool.
It's really hard to describe Batman at this point in time, because the comic books kind of ping pong back and forth between really serious and like really campy, and the art does the same thing.
Yeah,
because we're gonna be coming up on a panel here eventually in the next issue where they do the same thing with Batman.
Yeah, and like in the story in this one is about them specifically taking out Nazis, and America, the world in general, is a very dark place at this point.
Yeah.
And it isn't until like well after the war happens, it's done and dusted when they want to really lighten things up. So
Right.
Yep.
Ooh, these next panels.
This is just silly as hell. The next panels.
All of the rest of them are silly, but yeah, specifically the next ones.
Yeah. So this is when Batman is trying to figure out a way to escape from the car before it hits the thing. I like the first one because I keep imagining like in my head I'm looking at this and like Batman's just like literally bashing his head up against the dashboard.
I see that too. He's just like wham, and he just butts his head into the cigarette lighter to get it to click in.
Yeah.
But then he pulls it out with his teeth. They don't show that panel because it'd be in between these.
Yeah. I mean, logically he would like pull it out with his teeth, but like
yeah.
I don't know. It's just the idea of Batman, like, how do I escape? And they're just like bashing his head against the wall for a while.
You headbutt the column in your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then he pulls the cigarette lighter out with his teeth and burns through Robin's bonds.
Yeah. This would not have worked had it been a modern car because nobody like has cigarette lighters in them anymore.
Imagine like the Batman from the 40s transplanted into the 2010s or 2020s. You should write that comic.
Yeah.
Have him like bash his head into like the steering column, and like all it does is like push the charger for your cell phone further in.
Yeah. A lot of his like escape methods are like
Yeah.
rely on things that are like we deemed unsafe and like don't use anymore.
Right, right.
It's like, oh, I know, this definitely won't catch on fire because of all the asbestos. Perfect. And they're like, no, Batman, we got rid of asbestos because it's really
Asbestos.
bad.
Dude, you should write that story. That'd be really funny. Take the Golden Age Batman and write a modern story with him in it and have him try to use Golden Age solutions to
That
modern problems.
that's a great idea.
That was a really good idea. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, and the last 4 panels are like an action sequence.
Yeah, I just love the whole part because the these Nazis, they have this antique shop that they're hiding in,
Yeah.
but they have this giant Nazi chandelier, like it's a swastika
It's shaped like a
chandelier.
swastika.
Yeah, and it's gaudy too.
Very discreet. They're definitely not Nazis.
Yeah, it's got like light bulbs all across it. It's
Yeah.
it's ugly.
Well, apparently it's cheaply made too, because Batman and Robin are hanging from it, and somehow they can just snap off the parts of the swastika really
Yep.
easily by hand and chuck them into these Nazis' faces.
Yeah, they're weaponizing against them. It's
Yeah.
great.
I do like that they like spin around on it.
Yeah.
And then they're like kicking everybody in the faces.
Yeah, like their first instinct is like, okay, yeah, sure, like this group of Nazis is like a Tommy gun and a bunch of other guns shooting at us, but we got to destroy this swastika first.
I get why they did this, because they're like, we're gonna take the Nazis and use the Nazi symbolism against them.
Yeah,
But it just comes across as really cheesy.
yeah, I love it.
The best part though, honestly, is like when they crash down to the ground
Mhm.
and they smush all the Nazis with the giant broken swastika lamp.
Yeah, it looks thick. Like I'm pretty sure, like
It would
granted they're
hurt.
talking like after they get like smashed, but
Look how thick that chain is.
yeah, they would definitely have like their necks broken.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Look at where it landed on both of them.
Oh man, that is gotta be painful. Oh, that was a little louder than expected. All right, we're gonna take a brief break, and when we get back, we're gonna talk about bargains in banditry. So our final story in Batman 14 ends on a Penguin story. It is good to see him back.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Penguin. He's got a more of a meaner streak in this one too.
He's cruel.
Yeah, like before, I know I don't want to say all like my thoughts here right now, but it definitely has like a slightly different tone than the other ones did.
It feels to me like when they first introduced him, he was like, I'm gonna do everything by the law, and I'm gonna be the clean criminal whose hands are wiped free of the blood and like all the crime.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna have other people do the crimes for me. And then he gets desperate and he resorts to being the violent, cruel penguin we have here.
Yeah. Yeah, this definitely feels closer to like the regular Penguin we all know and love.
Yeah.
All right, you want to describe the splash page?
Yeah, but real quick, this
Okay.
is Batman 14, story number 4, Bargains in Banditry, art by Jack and Ray Burnley, written by Don Cameron. I love this splash page.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Batman breaking in through a window into Penguin's suite, and Robin is about to jump in as well, and then Penguin is shooting at them with an umbrella. But like that's not what I like about it. What I like about it is all the penguins everywhere.
Yeah.
He's got a painting of a penguin on the wall staying in Antarctica. It looks like the northern lights are in the background.
Mm-hmm.
His curtains in front of the window are green with penguins all over them.
I like the curtains.
He's got a penguin statue on his desk, and he's got a penguin on his carpet, and he's got a penguin on his umbrella stand.
That's
I'm
really
surprised
cool.
he doesn't have penguin wallpaper and penguins on his couch.
They're really going for the Penguin thing right now.
Yeah, they are.
All right, let's see if I got this here. You can't go wrong with a Penguin perfect crime plot. Or can you? Once again, that droll but deadly bird of ill omen, the Penguin, turns his cunning criminal talents to the problem of getting the greatest possible gain from the least possible effort, and brings forth the diabolical scheme as war conceived in the underworld, as was ever conceived in the underworld. And it works like a charm until those awesome arch enemies of all cunning schemers, the Batman and Robin, set up a thriving little business in opposition to the shrewd vendor of villainy. This is the amazing story of a man who offered crimes for sale. You'll read about it in Bargains in Banditry. I like what was it? The little business in opposition to the shrewd vendor of villainy. Like
Yeah.
Joker gets, the Harlequin of hate. Shrewd vendor villainy is a good one for Penguin.
Yeah. Did you notice, by the way, they're doing that thing you were talking about where they misspell things on purpose in the bottom of the splash page where it starts the book? He's walking by all these signs and there's candy cost, but there's also or cost cut, but there's also Copper's cut rate clothes classy, and
Mm,
it's all spelled with K's.
that's weird.
Yeah.
No, classy is with a C.
Oh, but cut rate and clothes and
Yeah.
copper, like
Oh yeah.
Copper's is cut off by the sign, but still, like,
Yeah.
it's just funny that like that is really a thing, and like once you brought it up, I started noticing it all the time.
Mm-hmm. They like their alliteration.
Yeah. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Oops. Hang on. While taking a stroll one day, Penguin notices that all the stores around town are having sales or offering discounts. It gives him an idea. He writes up a formal document that offers good prices for crimes. He puts together maps, instructions, and even tips for a slew of crimes around the city that he will sell a certain amount of money plus a cut of the final haul. So basically, he's put out like a little flyer telling people that if they want to commit these crimes,
Mm-hmm.
he'll commit them, or they can commit them. He'll give them all the stuff they need, and then he'll take a cut, and they can keep the rest.
It's almost like that one story with the judge who was like giving out the permits for crime.
Yeah, it is kind of similar.
Yeah.
They just go a little more in depth into the different details. So his first customers are Torchy Blaze and Hairless Harry. They pay him $1,000 for his help with a bank robbery. The two men head to the bank and make their way into the president's office under false pretenses. They execute Penguin's instructions to a T and walk off with $1 million scot-free. When they return to their hideout, Penguin is there waiting for his cut. Turns out that he wants 100% of it. He shoots both men with poison darts, then takes the money and leaves them to die.
Damn.
Brutal. Bruce Wayne and his ward walk into the bank to buy some war bonds and find all the employees passed out from gas. The Penguin's robbery blueprints and recently deceased thugs all left behind. Why do they leave the blueprints behind?
I think at that point he
They're
doesn't
just
care.
idiots.
Yeah.
Back at home, they suit up as Batman and Robin and hop into the Batplane. They take off and head for Grand Boulevard, the street with the most jewelry stores, knowing that most likely Penguin's goons will strike there next. Their hunch pays off. Slippery Elmer and his men are coming out of a jewelry store that they had just robbed and laughing about how easy it was. Our heroes jump from the hovering Batplane and start knocking heads. This time, however, it doesn't go so well. Elmer is able to escape because Penguin anticipated Batman's intervention. He tear gasses the dynamic duo and makes off for his hideout. Penguin is there. When he opens the door, the two men threaten to kill each other. Suddenly, a fully recovered Batman and Robin come smashing through the window, ready to take Penguin down. But he turns the tides on them again by forcing them into a chicken wire net at Umbrella Point.
I like how he caught his own guy in it too.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't give a fuck.
Nope. After finding their way out of the chicken wire and taking Elmer to jail, Batman and Dick, or I should have said Batman and Robin, but whatever, go home and ponder the situation over a good sparring match.
I like to use Bruce and Dick when they're themselves just like hanging out.
Yeah.
And then when they're Batman and Robin doing crime. That's why I switched to that.
By the way, this is the first time that we've seen them like doing that traditional like sparring type of stuff back and forth. They're doing like workouts and stuff, but this is the first time we see them fighting with each other and training how to honing their fighting skills.
I could have sworn they've seen it done before.
We've seen them like working out and stuff, like lifting dumbbells and everything, but I thought that was pretty cool. All right. Where was I?
Let's see. After finding their way to the chicken wire.
After finding their way out of the chicken wire and taking Elmer to jail, that's where I was.
Yep.
Bruce decides to open his own discount crime business to rival Penguins and therefore make the Penguin come to them. Bruce becomes Bad News Brewster, and he sells miniature models and maps of places to rob, but they eventually all backfire and end up getting the people who buy them caught and arrested.
That is almost like entrapment.
It is. He's Batman, though.
Yeah.
A letter shows up for Brewster with only an address, and Bruce assumes that it's from the Penguin. He and Dick suit up and pay the address of visit. The door is open, and when they step in, they are trapped in a giant umbrella that puts them to sleep with knockout gas. When they wake up, they're tied up, and Batman is sitting in a chair with a dartboard around his face, or around his neck.
I love that.
I know, me too. Penguin starts to toss poison-tipped darts at him. Batman shit talks and tries to distract him and make him miss, while Robin knocks over the Penguin's umbrella stand and recklessly fires off the umbrellas one by one. He fires an acid umbrella that eats away at Batman's ropes. He frees himself and then smashes the dartboard over Penguin's head, dazing him. The dynamic duo bring him in to pay for his crimes. The next day, they find out that he has been sentenced to death for the murders he committed. Is this the end of the Penguin? I didn't even write the end because I just wrote, is this the end?
Yeah, it's interesting, like the way they ended it. Like, yeah, he's gonna get executed.
Yeah, it's a cliffhanger.
Yeah,
You don't believe he's actually going to get executed, but I think it's to show like how Batman and Robin have changed. They're not like good riddance, like they were in the past. They're just like, is this the end? We don't know.
Yeah, they know like enough that like, yeah, these guys, they always come back somehow.
Yeah.
It isn't like Batman is going and shooting them with silver bullets in their sleep anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the days. Yeah, it's interesting that like, yeah, like in like the first and second appearance of Penguin, right? He came up with a scheme. Is like, I think it was the second one where he's like, yeah, I will free you from jail,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'll pay for your thing, and then you do this crime, and whatever, I'll be on my word, and we'll go split it 50-50.
Right. So honest.
Yeah, he was honest. Like, he was doing dirty things, but he's honest about it.
Right.
This one, he's like making guys go out, do things, and he's like reneging on his deal.
Yeah. He's crooked.
He's crooked. He's
His
killing
true
folks.
nature has been revealed since he's been put in prison.
Yeah. He doesn't give a shit anymore.
Nope.
It's cool.
Yeah, this first panel that you picked really gives it away too.
I think you picked it. I don't remember putting
Really?
any of them in there. Yeah.
Okay, well
maybe I did this one, but
this one it's Slippery pulling a gun on Penguin after he gets home and Penguin's there.
yeah.
And he's like shaking. You can see like the shake lines and like the swift action line of him pulling the gun up.
Yeah.
And he's basically just like, the Batman caught the others, so I don't have to split the money, and now I'm gonna kill you. And then Penguin's like, sure, go for it. Like, he's so calm and casual. He's just lighting a cigarette and just like smiling and like
He knew this was happening.
he's like,
prepared.
you're gonna die.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? You. Bam.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I didn't really like discuss my thoughts here. I don't have
Okay.
a whole lot of thoughts about this, but I was gonna say Bad News Brewster is definitely Matches Malone.
Yeah.
Like, it's the first version of Matches Malone. We saw Bruce Wayne dress up like another sort of like fake person before,
Mm-hmm.
but it didn't feel like Matches Malone. It felt like a completely different persona. This
Yeah.
feels like that character.
Yeah. They probably thought like, okay, Bad News Brewster is like kind of cheesy,
Mhm.
but also it's too close to Bruce.
Well, yeah, but also like, BB, Bad News Brewster, Matches Malone, MM.
The alliteration again.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good name. It's just, I think to me it sounds too close to Bruce.
Yeah.
So they at some point the writers must have been like, we're not using that name again. We got to come up with something else.
Yeah. Beyond that, all I wrote was that like I love the scene with the target on Batman's face,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought the story struck a perfect note between funny, dark, clever, and action packed.
Yeah.
So let's get to this next panel here. It's good stuff. This one is Batman jumping through a window. He's like throwing an uppercut as he jumps through the window.
Yeah.
And then his shadow is cast on the wall, and you see like this little side table that was apparently in front of the window with like a bottle of wine and a glass falling over. And then Penguin's like, no, damn it. And he's about to like take down Slippery, who pulled the gun on him. But one of my favorite things about this panel is that Batman busts through, right, to like save Slippery from the Penguin. And then the Slippery says, I'm too young to die. Like, he thinks that Batman's going to kill him.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also really like that Penguin acknowledges the pun. They never do that.
Yeah, no. What's crookin'? Yeah.
It's a bad pun too.
How does he think of this shit like on the spot like that?
I don't know.
Or do you think he's got like a book of puns? Batman's book of puns.
He probably like spends like a good chunk in the like, but he probably arrives at the Batmobile like on the crime scene. And he's like, okay, before I go in, I got to think of a good pun.
Yeah.
And he does scouting, not just to find out like who's in where and what's going on,
Right.
but he's like looking at the object. He's like, okay, I can do this and make like a book pun.
That would be somebody should make a Batman book pun. If you're listening
Yeah.
to this podcast and you are good at puns, do it.
Yeah.
Like, just do a chapter of like Penguin puns, Joker puns, like crook puns, thief puns. It'd be funny.
Just like, okay, glass. I can do something with this glass here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me think of Batman through like a different lens. Like, he's so prepared that he's like overly prepared because he's even got funny puns to come with.
Yeah, it's definitely it's Adam West Batman, but Adam West as written by like Seth MacFarlane.
Yeah.
Like that's how I kind of imagined it.
You know what? What if this Batman is always constantly falling into traps and having to escape because he's focusing too much on the funny puns?
That would make sense.
When he cuts out the funniness and he's just dark and brooding,
Mhm.
he's never getting caught.
Yeah, yeah. The lighthearted Batman is like gets in a lot more danger.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
puts himself in bad situations all the time.
I can't let myself make any puns. Too many people died.
No more puns.
Yeah. So next panel is all of them getting caught in the chicken wire,
Yeah.
and then Robin makes a good pun here.
I'm all cooped up.
Now's not the time, Robin.
Right. No, but he doesn't say that at all. He's just
Yeah.
like, all right, yeah, good job. They should have done like a knuckle bump right here.
Yeah. Or you know what? He kind of looks like he's like, I was about to say that, Robin. You got my perfect pun.
Right, his face, he's like, damn it, that
could-
was my line.
How could you betray me?
Yeah,
Also, something I keep wanting to say about Elmer, like his name's like Slip and Elmer.
yeah.
Elmer is one of those names that like nobody names their kids anymore because
Because of glue.
no, well, Glue and Elmer Fudd.
True, yeah.
Like it's one of those names like Kermit, where like
Yeah, it's,
or Elmo, where
it's gone.
it's a legitimate name,
yeah,
but because there's a character that's like really famous,
yeah.
nobody wants to name their kid after that
Or
anymore.
Barney.
Yeah, yeah,
like, please don't name your kids Elmo or Barney.
exactly. Like you can, I think if you like go on those registries where you can see like names of people,
Yeah,
like by birth year, like you probably type in like like Elmo, and it like dramatically drops in the 80s because that's when they like introduced Elmo to
Yeah.
Sesame Street.
I bet you're right.
Yep. A 13 Dead End Alley.
It's such a fake sounding address.
It is.
But it's Gotham City, so of course they'd have a 13 dead end alley.
Yeah, that's just like you're begging like to have like zero property value.
I really love this whole Bad News Brewster thing.
They
'cause
do too.
just like the pun thing, where it's like, how long does he take to think up these stupid puns? How much time did he take to build all these miniatures of all these banks and jewelry stores?
I was thinking that too. Like Bruce, like he's definitely like wants to like open up like a gaming shop,
Yeah.
but like with like Gotham stuff. Also, I love his clothes here. He reminds, I don't know if they're going for like a beatnik look,
Maybe
but he reminds me of like
he looks like the freaking sailors, the thugs from the Adam West series.
he kind of looks like that. He kind of reminds me of I don't think you played Persona 5,
Mm-mm.
but there's a guy in it who runs a like a model gun store. Like it's a gun. It's not a real gun store. They sell model guns, but he's like a shady looking dude. It kind of reminds me of that.
You should dress up like Bad News Brewster for Comic-Con.
Nobody would get it.
Nobody would get it. Underneath, you can have a Batman shirt, like a gray shirt with
Yeah.
a bat symbol.
I love his shades though. Those are good.
It is good.
Wearing them indoors too.
No, they're not. He's got an eye patch.
Oh, it's an eye patch. That's
Yeah,
right.
he's got an eye patch.
Okay.
That's the Matches Malone thing right there. the eye
Yeah,
patch.
yeah. I'm seeing it's a side profile,
Yeah.
so it looks like shades.
You know, two things about this panel. One, like I love the way that the shadow looks coming through the door. It's very film noir.
Hmm.
It's all just,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
obscured because it's like that foggy glass. And also like the miniature sets all on the shelves behind him in the background is really cool.
Hmm.
But I just realized something. Maybe he builds these miniature sets so that as Batman, when he's busting into places to stop criminals, he knows the layouts of the buildings.
I could see
Like
that.
he has the blueprints, then he
Yeah.
builds the miniature to figure out how he's going to infiltrate,
Yeah.
and now he's like selling his own miniatures.
I wonder
to
if he's
these
got like
criminals.
little Batman and Robin minifigs too that he just
Yeah,
like pushes them
probably.
in. He's got one for Joker and like generic goons.
That'd be funny.
yeah.
Like you have like a comic book where Batman's sitting in the Batcave playing with his Batman and Robin and Joker figures in a little miniature.
Yeah.
Of where he's about to fight the Joker, and then you cut to like Joker in his Joker lair playing with little Batman and Robin miniatures, talking about how he's going to kill Batman.
That's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, and then we just have a shot here of Batman and Robin going inside of a door. It just looks cool.
Yeah.
And I like how that Robin's like, it's almost too easy.
Yeah. Why are they going through the front door? Come on.
They never go through the front door. They crash through the skylight or the window. like,
Yeah. The giant man-sized windows in Gotham.
the only time that they go through the front door is when Bruce, Batman,
Hmm.
busts through the front door, like throwing punches already and like shatters the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know, and then he's just like announces himself as he runs in.
They do that when they want to make a dramatic entrance when it's like a
Yeah.
place that they're expected to be usually.
Yeah.
Like police headquarters, like Gordon's house.
Mm-hmm.
That one time, like the one story we always talk about where he bursts in with the when Robin gets like nearly killed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, always to the front. He does that when he wants to be super dramatic and not sneaky. Like when he wants you to know Batman is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. I like how too, whenever he busts through windows, they draw him like way more buff.
Yeah.
You know? Like
Yeah.
he just like flexes and jumps through a window. These next couple panels here, like where we see Batman sitting in the chair with the dartboard around his head,
I love it.
he looks like that freaking superpowers figure that McFarlane released.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, his
Yeah.
head looks a little off, but I'm fine with it.
Yeah. It's just also silly as hell.
Yeah, it's really good though. This next panel is cool because it's like cut diagonally, and like the top half is Robin like laying on the ground,
Yeah.
next to the Penguin umbrellas and the little umbrella stand, and then like the bottom half is Penguin like holding a dart about to chuck it at Batman's face.
It looks like it looks like Robin is looking into the other panel too. It's
Mhm.
it's almost meta.
It is. It's that's how you draw comic books. So
Yeah.
that your eyes follow the action.
Yeah, it's very smart.
And like even here where Robin's basically saying that like you can't do that to Batman, and then he's like tee hee hee, what makes you think I can't? Your eyes automatically go to the Penguin who's right below this thought bubble, or the
Yeah.
speech bubble, and then it continues around towards Batman.
Yeah, it's pretty smart because generally when you're reading, you read the like left to right, but
Yeah.
this one like it flows very naturally.
Right. This is like the beginning of when they are actually starting to like use flow to
Mhm.
create the story and like so that you actually read it right and you're not having to reread things.
Yeah.
At least for Batman.
Okay, so next one, we have a lot of panels.
I know there's a lot of good ones here. I love this one though because I love Robin's line. Penguin's just chucking darts all willy nilly at Batman's face, and he's missing with all of them. And then Robin says,
If you kill him, you'd better kill me too, because I'll spend the rest of my life making you sorry.
"That just makes
Damn.
me want to read a Batman comic where Batman dies, and then
Yeah.
Robin dedicates his life to killing Penguin." Like, it's good stuff.
Spending a long time trying to kill the Penguin. He could do it easily, and so he would spend a lot of time like basically fucking with him before he does it.
Well, have you ever seen the movie I Saw the Devil?
No.
It's a Korean action horror flick.
Mhm.
That's what I think it would be. It's
Hmm.
this guy, his daughter is like kidnapped, and like I think she's murdered by this serial killer, right? Who's been let out of prison.
Mm.
And so instead of killing the guy, he just stalks the guy and then he beats the crap out of him. He beats him into like subconscious or into unconsciousness
Mm.
and then disappears.
Mm.
And then finds him like the next day and then does the same thing and then disappears.
Oh,
And he
wow.
just keeps finding him and just like beating the tar out of
Huh.
him to the point where like the guy is like paranoid and he's just like looking
Oh,
around
damn.
everywhere he goes. And then he'll like see the guy who's a cop and he's like, "No!" And he starts running in the opposite direction.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's a good movie.
Damn, they make good in Korea. They make very good revenge films.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the next one looks like it's another one of Penguin, just continuing on with his barrage of darts.
It's good though.
Yeah,
I like he's like sweating because he's so bad at aiming, and he's like, "I gotta hit him in the face soon, or I'm gonna run out of darts."
he's just a guy sitting.
Yeah,
I love it. Next one, some more darts.
this one's good because it's like this really close up of Batman's face with the dartboard around his head, and
Yeah.
he's like gritting his teeth.
This would have been a great thing to see Adam West dressed in, like with the dartboard around his head.
Yeah, but he's like shit talking. This is why I said he's shit talking because like even though there's like 6 darts in the dartboard,
Yeah,
and they're all pretty close,
yeah,
they're like towards the middle. He's like, "Are you sure? Remember, you've never won in a showdown against me and Robin."
yeah. He always runs off.
Yeah, like,
Yeah, and and Batman's just not even flinching.
no, he's just like,
Like-
"Bring it on,
Robin's the way more worried.
dart me in the face, I dare you."
And then after that, we got the next shot where Batman gives him his just desserts, and he basically smashes the dartboard over Penguin's head.
Yeah. I love how both Batman and Robin are like grinning like hell right here, and Penguin's
Yeah.
like, "Oh no."
It's gotta feel good.
Yeah. And then like also like as he slams the target over his head, Penguin like pulls the trigger on the umbrella and it shoots off some gas into the air.
Yeah, yeah. Just total like loss of composure.
Mhm.
That's when he knows it's over.
Yeah. And then this panel. This is what I was talking about right here. This
It's-
last panel.
oh yeah,
Remember you were talking about how the Batmobile, like the face on the Batmobile is always blacked out?
yeah, yeah.
This is the first, well, it's not the first time. They've done this twice, but they're both in the same issue.
Mhm.
This is the first time we've ever seen in a Batman issue, Batman's face just blacked out, and all you see is his eyeballs.
Yeah,
Just these white eyes on this black face. Like, oh my God. It's like, that's the shadowy silhouette Batman that you expect when you watch the
Mhm.
cartoon
Yep.
or you read the comic books. You get stuff like this all the time in the modern age, but this is the first time we've ever seen it here.
yeah. This is a really good shot, and it like kind of almost foretells like the next shot, like the next panel or whatever, when they announce that he's getting the electric chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dark and a good way to cap the story.
You know what I like most about it, though,
Hmm.
is that Batman's not joking. Penguin's just like running off his mouth, and Batman says, "Do tell."
Yeah,
That's it. It's like really, it's very minimal, and
Yeah.
he looks so terrifying.
he's going from Adam West to Frank Miller.
Pretty much. It looks like Frank Miller Batman.
It does.
Yeah, it's good stuff. I love it.
Yep. So that is going to wrap up Batman Become a Bat number 50 thank you so much for listening to us all these through this year. If you can, like, subscribe to us on your platform of choice. Leave a comment. We don't have very many comments on our iTunes at all. Next time we're gonna do Batman number 15, story number 1. Your Face is Your Fortune, and The Boy Who Wanted to Be Robin.
Those both sound good. I
Those
wonder
do.
if story number 1 is a Two-Face story.
Oh, I hope so. I don't think we're gonna get him for a while.
Probably not. We had him, but he's probably not coming back for a bit.
All right. Thank you so much, and good night.
Later.